welcome to this another episode of ECCB Connects. This week we are continuing our discussion with Mr. Trevor Blake on the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange. Mr. Blake, welcome again to ECCB Connects.
Thank you again.
Mr. Blake, in our last program you gave the assurance that the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange is a viable investment option for the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. You also mentioned briefly some of the products you offer, but let's go a bit more into the products, the investment products that are available.
We have a total of about 133 securities listed. Of that, 13 represent equities, that is shares of 13 companies, 12 of which are domestic companies that are domiciled here in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, right? And one is cross-listed from Barbados, that is First Caribbean, CIBC First Caribbean International. Amongst those 13 equities, a range of industries. So it provides significant diversification even within that small number. And then these companies are domiciled in different parts of the currency union, which again gives you some geographic diversification. And diversification is important for risk mitigation. These companies represent sectors such as the banking sector, utilities, the electricity companies, the trading companies like TDC, SL Horsford's.
Those are in St. Kitts and
Nevis, yes. We have the banking sector very well represented. We have the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank and the Bank of Nevis here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have East Caribbean Financial Holdings in St. Lucia, and we have Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines from St. Vincent. We have, again, a property company, Grenadier Property Corporation in Grenada. I forgot to mention Republic Bank Limited in Grenada as well. So we have a range of sectors represented, even within a relatively small number of stocks. And again, as you see, the geographic representation across the various countries. And then we go to the debt. We have 7 issues of corporate debt listed on the exchange as well, and those are issued by the Eastern Caribbean Home Mortgage Bank, which is a strong regional entity that issues debt on a regular basis. So again, this provides investors an opportunity to invest in corporate debt securities by a strong regional company where the risk, again, is minimized because of the nature of that company. And then we have the government securities. We have about 100 or so government securities listed, and these are issued by the governments of Antigua, Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So again, you see there's a strong geographic spread across the currency union. And the government securities straddle different maturities. So you have treasury bills from 91-day treasury bills, 180-day treasury bills, 365-day treasury bills. You have medium-term notes, which would go maybe up to 3 years. And you have long-term bonds that run from between 5, 7 to up to 20 years. So depending on your investment needs, you have a range of products from which you could pick.
Yeah, and the time frame too. So if you're still a bit timid, you can do the shorter terms, and if you're really into investment, you can do the longer range securities.
Indeed, and it depends on your investment objectives. If you're investing money that you're going to need maybe in 2 years, then you stay with the short-term instruments. Whereas if you're a young man or woman and you're investing for your retirement, you'd probably want to get into equities or some of the longer-term debts where you get a stream of income over time, and you get your principal at the end. So it varies depending on your risk profile, depending on your risk appetite and your investment needs that you would invest in the various types of securities.
And of course, diversity. You do have a range.
Indeed,
yes.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
You spoke about trading. Take us through the process, like a day in the ECSE? What happens? How the trading actually takes place?
Right. Investors trade through brokers. So the broker dealers place bids on their behalf on the ECSE platform. We come in, we ensure that the systems are running, and we open the trading day. So the trading board is open for brokers to place bids on behalf of the investors. You have investors who would want to buy securities. You'd have investors who want to sell securities. The brokers then place these bids on the trading platform. If there's a match, so if someone wants to buy what somebody else wants to sell at a price that matches, then the trade is executed, and then at the end of the day, it is settled. It goes for settlement, which happens on the next day. What we have a considerable amount of activity in as well is auctions of new securities, primary market auctions, and these would come from either the government securities market or from the private corporate sector. On those days when we have auctions, the broker-dealers would be inputting bids on behalf of the investors. So it gets very active sometimes when you see the price changes as the broker-dealers go in and modify their prices, because they're putting a bid at initial price, and as they see what is happening in the market, what other orders come onto the market, they keep adjusting their prices to ensure that their investors could be successful, that they could be allotted in the auction. So sometimes it gets very, very, very active. After the trading day is done and the securities all the trades are executed, at the end of the day, we have a projected settlement. All the trades that occur on the market are settled on the next day, which is what we call T+1 settlement cycle. That I should mention is a very efficient settlement cycle. Most markets settle on T+3 cycle, which
Meaning
means
3 days
3
after?
days after the trade is executed, the trade is settled. The US is now moving to T+2, which the second day, they're moving from 3 to 2 days. We are at the very next day after, so we are even more efficient than most of the markets in the world. And then the next day, the trade is settled, meaning that the securities move to the selling party, and the money for the trade moves to the buying party, and that is done very seamless on what we call a DVP, delivery versus payment. So once money moves, securities move, and it happens coincidentally or simultaneously, so that no party pays until they get securities, and no party delivers securities until they get payments. So everything is coincides at a particular point in time during the day.
Mr. Blake, let's say there's an individual or a small business who wants to invest or buy shares from a company that's listed on the ECSE. What should that individual do?
Right. That individual firstly should go to a broker-dealer. There are a number of licensed broker-dealers that are members of the ECSE. We have 6 in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have the Bank of Nevis and the St. Kitts, Nevis Anguilla National Bank. In St. Lucia, we have First Citizens Investment Services and Bank of St. Lucia. In Grenada, we have Grenada Cooperative Bank. In St. Vincent, we have Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Limited. Asked to speak to the representative there, and that representative is licensed by the Commission to give investment advice and to manage securities on behalf of clients, and to enter bids, etc., and orders on the market for clients.
You mentioned we have 8 member countries, but you have brokers in about just 4?
Yes.
So let's say I am from Dominica, because I didn't hear you mention Dominica,
Right.
and I wish to invest. Do I choose one of those brokers from the other countries?
Yes, the market is a single market. So while a broker-dealer may be located in one country, he is free to act on behalf of investors in another country. He just make the necessary arrangements with that investor to ensure that he does all his know your customer requirements and get monies, etc. But certainly a number of the broker-dealers operate throughout, so they have clients in all of the countries. So of course it is much better if we have broker dealers resident in those places, and we are working, and we hope by the end of the year we would have a broker dealer in Dominica, one in Antigua and Barbuda. So we are working on, we've had broker dealers in those countries before, but for different reasons those did not continue. But we are hoping to get back there where we have broker dealers in most, if not all, of the member countries.
So the main way into the market is through a broker dealer.
Indeed.
And then the broker dealer will take you through the process.
Right.
Okay.
And that is important because we mentioned risk earlier. Many times an individual may not know anything about investing. So it's important that he has somebody who could advise him or her on what investing entails, the types of risks that there are, that person's own personal circumstances, what are the investment needs, for example. Why do they want to invest? Are they investing for retirement? Are they investing for some other purpose? Are they more interested in a stream of income? Or would they prefer to benefit more from capital gains over time? Okay. And those are the types of discussions that they should have with the broker-dealer to identify their real needs, their risk appetite as well, and then structure a portfolio that is suitable for their own circumstances.
Okay. You mentioned earlier, and we know that at commercial banks, the interest rate is low, I think 2% on savings as a maximum. What sort of interest, in terms of, if you can give a range for investment on the ECSE?
We have listed on the exchange bonds that pay up to 6.5%. We've had up to 7%. I think we still have some at 7.5%. So you could invest in an instrument that pays you up to 7.5% per annum, compared to 2% in a commercial bank. So I think the investing is much more attractive to a person who understands the risks, because there are always risks, and who is willing to accept that risk and benefit from a higher rate of return. So I would encourage investors to go to a broker, go to one of the licensed brokers and talk to them. Tell them about your circumstances, tell them about your needs or your requirements, and discuss with them what could be possible investment opportunities that are suitable to you.
What other benefits are there to investors in terms of investing on the ECSE? What other benefits are there?
Well, certainly a strong benefit is what we call price discovery. If you invest in an instrument, whether it be debt or equity, that is not listed, you don't know what that is worth. When you list on one that is listed on an organized exchange as the ECSE, you have price discovery taking place because these securities are traded, and you get to discover the market price for these debts. You have a price discovery taking place as trades occur. Then you know what investors what the market determines the worth of these securities to be by the prices that are paid for them. You also have what we call an exit mechanism. If you invest in a security, especially a longer-term security, or one that is indefinite, like equities, and in a year or two your circumstances change and you want cash, you are then able to come to the market and sell those securities. Additionally, instead of selling, if you don't want to sell but you need cash for whatever reason, you could take these securities and go to a commercial bank or lending institution and use these securities as collateral to obtain loans from your bank or your credit union, as the case may be. So there are a number of benefits for investors for investing in securities that are listed on the ECSE.
Mr. Blake, thank you very much. As we wrap up, I just want to highlight some of the key points. You did give the assurance that the ECSE is a fairly safe and it's a viable investment option for the people of our region. If an individual is interested in investing, he or she has to check with a broker to discuss his investment needs. And of course, ECSE, that investment offers high returns. We also have to be mindful of the risks that are involved.
Yes, indeed. I would just as I close, I encourage your viewers to log on to our website, www.ecseonline. There's tremendous amounts of material there. There's lots of information. There's information on prices, information on securities that are listed. Feel free to call us as well. Our number is 869-466-7192. The toll-free number is 1-800-744-9238. Yes, so feel free to contact us and ask us anything that you would need to know. Visit our website, again, and see and read for yourself, see what we are doing. And I welcome you to the ECSE and to investing for your future using the platforms of the Eastern Caribbean Securities Market.
Mr. Blake, thank you very much for speaking with us again on ECCB Connects.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to have been here and to share with you and your listeners. Thank you.
You're watching ECCB Connects, protecting our currency, developing our region. Season 4 of ECCB Connects is almost at a close. Our final episode will feature Governor of the ECCB, Timothy N.J. Antoine, as he discusses the bank's performance for the 2016-2017 financial year. We'll be back in September with brand new episodes. In the meantime, stay connected with us on Facebook and YouTube. ECCB Connects, protecting our currency, developing our region.
We've come to the end of this another episode of ECCB Connects. Join us again next week when we'll be back with another program.